From Fox 5 New York, this is Good Day Weekend.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Weekend. I'm Stephanie Bertini in the Fox 5 newsroom.
Houston Integrity splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
The Artemis II crew is back after a historic 10-day mission around the moon, going deeper into space than any human has ever dared. Mission Control reports Artemis had a picture-perfect re-entry. NASA reporting the heat shield, which gave it so much trouble on the first Artemis mission, appears to have held up. High-stakes peace talks taking place between the U.S. and Iran in Pakistan this weekend. It comes as the ceasefire appears to be very shaky. President Trump sent Vice President J.D. Vance to lead the negotiations. Iran still has control of the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump has threatened to end the ceasefire if Iran does not reopen it immediately. Iran has demands of its own. The country wants Israel to stop attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. President Trump says 50,000 U.S. forces are on standby to re-engage if necessary and reiterated a satisfactory deal to him means Iran has no nuclear weapons. Here's a look at your weekend forecast now. Temperatures will get up to the low 60s today. A sunny Saturday will lead to clear and chillier conditions tonight. Tomorrow you can expect some cloud coverage. 58 degrees is the high tomorrow. All right, a new trend is gaining popularity and helping improve work-life balance. It involves working for a few hours at a time instead of being trapped behind a desk for 8 hours straight. Jen Williams introduces us to micro-shifting.
For millions juggling competing priorities, micro-shifting is reshaping what the workday looks like. Kevin Rockman is a professor of management and assistant dean at the George Mason University Costello College of Business.
Micro-shifting is this idea that you can be flexible in how you structure your work throughout the day by dedicating more intense periods of work, and then other times where maybe you take a break.
I just feel like it's better to take breaks during the day than to work straight through the day.
So instead of one long stretch at your desk, micro-shifting is tackling your job in short, focused, and intense bursts, and then maybe stepping away to take care of personal or family needs, and then returning to the task at hand. And structuring your time like this can actually lead to more productivity.
We actually have known this for many, many years, that if you try to stay sort of in the zone, or you try to stay super focused on something for a very long period of time, your mind is going to wander, right? You're not going to be as productive. You're not going to be as creative.
I got to get my 10 to 12,000 steps a day in, and that sort of 15, and do it in 15 and 20-minute chunks a day. And it's a great break, and it clears my mind, and good ideas happen when I do it.
Getting up and just walking around the office or going out for a walk is helpful.
The trend exploded out of pandemic-era remote work, and it's now gaining traction in some companies where performance is judged by output, not hours logged.
One thing the pandemic did was give a lot of agency or control to employees to improve their own work situations. And it forced a lot of people to think about how they work best, because they had to. They had to figure out, how to work at home or how to work from places that were not the traditional places.
But experts warn it can hurt teamwork, putting individual schedules ahead of collaboration.
Relationships are the key to everything, right? So it's relationships between employees and their managers, so that they understand when each other is working, how they're working, what they're expected to do on a day-to-day basis. So that's key, having that communication.
On the Upper East Side, Jennifer Williams, Fox 5 News.
Mayor Mamdani marking 100 days in office and looking back on his campaign promises reveals where he has and has not delivered. Mamdani got the ball rolling on his promise for free universal childcare by reaching a deal for the first phase, which is free childcare for some 2-year-olds. As for his promise for a rent freeze on rent-stabilized apartments, the mayor has appointed 6 members to the Rent Guidelines Board, which is expected to vote in May or in June. He also promised city-owned grocery stores and free buses. It's almost certain neither will happen this year. Former New York City Mayor Eric Adams is now a citizen of Albania. According to the country's president, Adams became an honorary citizen, quote, at his request. Adams has often said he liked the small Balkan nation, traveling there a few months before he left office, and his son lived there while competing on Albania's version of American Idol. It's not clear what Adams plans to do with his new citizenship, but he had expressed a desire to move far away from New York. The Row Hotel is set to reopen to tourists next month in 2022. It was turned into an emergency response and relief center for migrants, but now it's shifting back to hospitality after being renovated. It's now sporting redesigned guest rooms, updated social spaces, and a new cafe. A Long Island bakery going viral for combining 2 popular desserts. Fox 5's Jody Goldberg takes us to the Alpine Pastry Shop for a taste of the rainbow cookie donut.
People have been lining up out the door all day here at Alpine Pastry Shop in Smithtown for a donut that's going viral for bringing together 2 classic favorites.
It's a rainbow cookie in the form of a donut, and it takes on kind of a different texture.
Antonio Cuccia is the manager here and came up with the idea.
Everybody loves donuts, so we figured let's do something a little different. We put in thick layer of apricot and raspberry. Drop that in there, get it fully coated. When we dip them in this chocolate, it's like a soft chocolate. When you bite into it, it just really gives you like that donut feel. And there you go.
This is the final step.
Just the drizzle on top. You know, you gotta have a little drizzle just to finish them all.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
We're selling them all day, every day. People come in when we open at 7. Even after we close, they're still coming in the door saying, do you have them? Can I get them?
As quickly as we bring them out, they go.
At $6.95 a piece, customers say it's worth the price. You drove an hour and a half?
Hour and 30 minutes for that right there.
Once it hit social media, I mean, we weren't even ready for all the people that just started coming in. I really thought it was going to be like just a weekend only thing. Maybe I would just make a couple hundred a week, and now I'm making like a couple hundred a day.
Not only are people traveling to get here, but they're taking the donuts and bringing them elsewhere. Where are these going?
We're bringing this to our family in Pennsylvania. They're big rainbow cookie people.
We're shipping to Florida. Today a lady called me from Indiana.
How long are you going to keep baking them?
For as long as people keep coming in for them.
And judging by the crowds, and the taste, the craze isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
An immersive version of the Sistine Chapel is in New Jersey. All 34 of Michelangelo's frescoes can be seen at the Westfield Garden State Plaza in Paramus. The exhibit opened yesterday. In the Sistine Chapel, the frescoes are on the ceiling, but at this exhibit, they are eye level, allowing guests to walk among the life-sized recreations. Don't go away. We'll be back with more news and a look at what you missed on the noon this week. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast for your week ahead. 8:40 in the morning. Welcome back to Good Day Weekend. Here's a look at your Saturday forecast. Today, temperatures will get up to the low 60s. Tonight, we dip down to 43 degrees. Tomorrow, 58 is the high. Not a bad weekend forecast for sure. All right, up next, it's not your college Jell-O shots, rather, but more like edible art. This week on The Noon, Bianca Peters spoke with the founders of Solid Wiggles about something special and delicious.
It is like art. It tastes delicious, and it also gets you tipsy. So, like, this is the perfect combination of coming up with this. How did you guys say we're going to start a business around Jell-O shots?
Well, Bianca, first of all, thank you so much for having us on.
Absolutely.
It's just like you said, you know, my background is in bartending, mixology,
Yeah.
and Jenna's background is in pastry. And we'd worked together in the past, and in 2020, we met up in, you know, Jenna's Brooklyn kitchen to work on some jellies and immediately said, we've got something here.
That is really cool. So taking a look at this, I know the camera, I don't know if they can zoom in, but I'm looking at this and I've seen the photos in person, and it's amazing what you guys do with these creations. But talk to us about like how you're getting that watercolor effect, that color just suspended in the Jellos or jellies. Is it jellies or Jell-O?
We say jellies.
Jellies? Okay, we'll say jellies.
So we make it in a few different layers. So we've got our first layer that we pour is the like primary flavor component. It's like the blank canvas.
Yeah.
So in the case of the margarita that you held up, it would be tequila and clarified lime juice.
Oh.
So lime juice that's treated to remove all the solids so it's
Okay.
perfectly clear.
Beautiful.
And then the next step is to inject art into it. So we've got some examples of our
Look at this.
floral design that we've injected. We have specialized syringe tips that
my
we
gosh.
use to do that injecting process. So this is the art that we would do for our aperitivo spritz.
Okay, I got to ask, are you creating art upside down? Because it looks like that's what it
Exactly.
is.
You're spot on.
Wow, that's okay. How long did it take to master that skill?
Yeah, it does take a little bit, and sometimes the art goes inside the canvas, and sometimes it kind of goes on top, like typically like a watercolor would.
And then each one of these jellies, how much alcohol is in them?
So they're 5% alcohol by volume.
Okay.
So actually relatively low ABV. Think
Yeah.
of it more like taking a bite of beer than taking a shot of a spirit.
So you'd have to eat a whole spread of these.
Yes, you probably have to eat the whole tray to be a little tipsy.
Interesting. Okay, I like that. So low alcohol, but it's more of just like a really cool treat that you could give. When you have people come to the location or pick up some of these jellies, what's the first thing that they say to you when they try them?
Well, the thing that's really exciting to us is twofold. First, they see the jellies and say, oh my gosh, these are so beautiful.
Yeah.
But we know that when they get them home, they're going to taste them and say, oh my God, they're just as delicious as they are beautiful. And I think that's really the thing that keeps people coming back to Solid Wiggles.
Okay, so the fact that you guys can have a place in Brooklyn where you create all these amazing works of art, but if somebody wanted to do this on their own, it would probably be horrible, but you guys created a book to show them how you do this. You're giving away your secrets for free. Well, not for free, you have to buy a book.
It's true, you've got to buy the book. But we wanted people who have been asking, like, how do we make these at home?
Yeah.
To be able to do it. And we think that it's such a fun artistic expression that anyone should have access to it.
I love
We didn't
that.
want to gatekeep the techniques.
Okay, because you can't ship these to California, I'm assuming.
Well,
Oh, wait, you can.
we're shipping our 6-inch cakes
Okay.
nationally right now. You can order from our website. And we're getting ready to launch the shots shipped.
That
we
is
figured
so
out the
cool.
packaging.
Okay, I love that. That's awesome.
When we come back, a look at what you missed this week on the 6 o'clock news. But first, let's take a look at the weather for your week ahead. I'm Stephanie Bertini. You're watching Good Day Weekend. Welcome back. Here's a look at your Saturday forecast. 62 is the high today, 43 is the low, and tomorrow 58 degrees is the high. An influx of tourists expected in the tri-state for the FIFA World Cup, and they may become prime targets for scammers. The president of New York's Better Business Bureau joined our Natasha Verma and Bianca Peters this week on the 6 o'clock news with some tips we can all benefit from.
The tournament is just 2 months away. In June, the Tri-State will be inundated with spectators to watch one of the many games. The Better Business Bureau, serving Metro New York, wants to make sure that visitors don't get scammed while they're here having a good time. The three big scams that plague New York visitors are unlicensed airport drivers, rental scams, and ticketing scams.
And joining us now is Claire Rosenweig, President and CEO of the Better Business Bureau, serving Metro New York. Claire, thanks so much for being with us.
Very happy to be here.
All right, we're excited. There's going to be a lot of people coming from out of country, out of state, that are flying into our airports here. And the first thing they need to do is get to the city, get to New Jersey. And a lot of people are like, can we offer you a ride? And they're not Lyft or Uber drivers or accredited taxi drivers.
It is a problem.
So how do people navigate this?
Sure. Well, the first thing, of course, is Better Business Bureau is very excited about people coming here. And we have a great website called A Traveler's Guide to New York City at bbb.org, NYC /NYC travel. And it has all kinds of information, including the information you're talking about. So when you are coming to New York, you come into the airport, chances are you have started a long time ago making these plans. You either have a ride share or you're thinking of taking a cab. There will be people saying, need a ride, just bypass them. There are well-designated places in the airport where you can get a cab, where you can get a ride share. Go to those places and just tunnel vision. Just go to those places because there will be people at luggage. Now, there are the red caps. Those are fine. But there will be people saying, need a ride. Can I help you with your luggage? Don't listen. Just go to those designated places.
They've got the iPads with the logos, and sometimes it's late at night. You just want to get to your hotel, and you might be tempted. But
you might be tempted, but don't fall for it because scammers always wait for high emotion moments. Either, like you say, you want to get there, you're frustrated, whatever it is. You made your plans, go to the rideshare place. And by the way, if you go to the rideshare place, make sure that the driver and the cab license plate are the same. Match what you had. And if you're going into a cab, go to the place where they have the dispatchers and make sure, take a picture of the license, the plate in the cab, because you might lose something and you want to be able to get back to that cab.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Okay, so once you get to the city or New Jersey and you need to find a place to stay, it's very expensive, so I'm sure scammers are looking to exploit you. What should you know?
Again, advanced preparation. Either staying at a hotel, always confirm before you take that flight, make sure you confirm your reservation. If you are going to go for a short-term rental, please know that in New York City, it is highly regulated. That's under 30 days. There are lots of regulations. You have the hosts have to be registered with the Mayor's Office of Special Enforcement. There's a database that you can check to make sure that that address is on the list. There's also prohibited places. You do not want to end up in a prohibited or an illegal rental, even if they're saying it's cheap. Those are usually on social media, unsolicited emails, ads all over the place saying things that just are too good to be true. Stick to your plan. Make those plans in advance. Make sure they're legal. And if you're going to New Jersey and staying there, they also have highly regulated areas, but that's through the municipalities, not through the city of New York.
Okay, well, one thing that is not cheap are the tickets to the World Cup. Absolutely mind-blowing and expensive. But the fact that someone's going to be putting in thousands of dollars for these tickets, you got to make sure that you're getting a real ticket, not being scammed.
Absolutely.
Especially how intricate some of these scammers are these days and smart they are. So how can we make sure that people are getting the real tickets?
We always say go to the source. FIFA.com, that's where you buy your tickets. Now understand, they did the tickets in a lot of different phases. They're in their last minute phase right now, that's what they're calling it. And that just started on April 1st and it'll go through July 19th, which is the final game.
When we come back, a look at what you missed this week on Good Day New York. But first, here's a look at the weather for your week ahead. Welcome back to Good Day Weekend. Here's a look at your Saturday forecast. Today, temperatures will get up to the low 60s. It's a sunny Saturday, and tonight you can expect some clear but chillier conditions. Tomorrow, you can expect some cloud coverage. It'll get as high as 58 degrees. All right, now to a Queens truck driver who also happens to be an incredible architectural artist, shining a light on his work. Crystal Young takes us to the Museum of the City of New York.
Well, let me tell you where this all began. It all began when the artist Joe Mackin was 7 years old. He said, I took a trip to Flushing Meadows Park and I went to the Panorama, and inside that building there was a scale model of New York, and he turned to one of his classmates and said, one day I'm going to build a model of New York City. And it took him a minute, but he actually made good on that promise. Now, speaking of making good on promises, I'm going to slide over to Nick Martinez. He has a pointer. I said that we were going to try to find a Fox 5 in this scale of the city. We flipped angles. We're now up in the sort of Bronxy northern Manhattan area, but I want the pointer to go over to Central Park so we can get our bearings. So you see all of that is Central
Park.
Park.
There.
Okay.
And then as you slide down and a little bit east, that's right around where Fox would be, right around there.
All righty, there you go. It is so amazing when you see it in person. And I wanted to know, well, how did all of this get installed? How did it get here? How did it get moved? There's 342 panels. And the answer really to that question is it was moved very carefully.
Yeah, Joe built all of this in his basement. He loaded up a U-Haul with a few pieces that he brought to the museum so that we could lay it out and figure out how it could fit in this space.
Right.
And our director of exhibitions, Todd Ludlam, really mapped out the exact square footage that it would take to fit the entire model. And so Joe brought all of the pieces down in the U-Haul, working with the crew at the museum, hand-placed every single piece.
Wow. Wow, yowza. And did I say wow? I think I did. All right, let's go to a sound bite from Joe. He said that technology over the years, as he started putting all of this together, actually made his process easier. Take a listen.
In 2004, when I started it, I used books, photos, printouts. I even went down to the city and I took my own photos. You know, about 2015, when Google Maps kind of came out, I was able to use satellites and Google Maps, which made it much easier. I was able to hone in on every neighborhood.
I love that. And I also want to show you that when you come to this gallery space, there's a screen. And the screen, if you look up at the screen, sometimes you'll go, oh, wait a minute, I think that's passing by my neighborhood. But it also gives you a much closer look at everything since it is so teeny weeny. Now, let's talk about things that you can come and do at this museum in general, because this is just one part of what's available.
Yeah, this week in particular, there are family programs that you can participate in on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We have MCNY Kids Art Studio where you can make a cityscape. And on Wednesday afternoon, we actually have a family workshop to build models of buildings just like Joe did.
Oh, I like it. And Joe says he's not done. He said he wants to go up toward the Tappan Zee Bridge and out way into Long Island. And, you know, Joe has some work to do. He is a dedicated man.
All right, well, that does it for us this morning. I'm Stephanie Bertini. Have a great day.